funny to me, man, is that Diddy used to hate Jay-Z. He hated Jay-Z enough when he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay-Z. This is back in the early 2000s.
Did Diddy always say negative things about Jay around you?
The time he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay, yeah, he was. They worked it out.
Was there a reason behind it?
I couldn't tell you the reason behind it. It was probably because Big had died. I don't know what it was, man. I don't know why he wanted Ja Rule to go at Jay. I guess if he kept them beefing or kept them into some bullshit, he could rise up in between both of them. You know what I mean? It definitely was some...
There are rumors going around about Jay-Z. People say he is under a lot of pressure right now. Some people from his past are coming back into the picture. A man named Gene Deal is talking a lot about it. He is saying that Jay-Z could be the next person to get into serious trouble. There are even whispers that Beyoncé might be trying to step back from the situation. Some people in the music industry are also talking. They say Diddy has pulled away because he felt Jay-Z didn't support him during his own problems. Commentators have said for years that Jay-Z is used to being in control during tough times. But now, they say he might be on the defensive. People like Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal have warned for a long time that Jay-Z and Diddy were surrounded by controversy. They said it would catch up to them. Diddy's situation has already changed badly. These same voices now say that Jay-Z could be facing something even worse as things get more tense around him.
These four gentlemen that got together, going to put up $30 million apiece.
Contemplating doing the first black-owned distribution company.
The thing is, they wasn't trying to let us in the door. That's why I don't trust these people.
But Suge came up with the idea. It was a brilliant plan. He said, whatever the recording fund is, 10% goes to the union. And each time you do a new album, 10%. It was going to be some get down or lay down shit. Shortly after that, the feds raided me.
All of us was being hit up around the same time. Someone left that meet talking about our move.
It was Jay-Z and Puff that went to those New York corner to let them know what Suge Knight was trying to do. They told Jay, if you help us get rid of Dame, we're going to make you the president of Def Jam.
Why don't we stick together and they got to come to us? For some reason, everybody just wants to do everything on their own. They don't understand collective economics.
People in the music business are talking. Some insiders say they don't think Jay-Z is trustworthy. They often bring up an old story from 1999 about a man named Lance Univera. Jay-Z ended up pleading guilty to assault in that case. But here's where it gets confusing. Lance Univera himself has always said that Jay-Z never actually attacked him. This contradiction has caused a lot of debate for years. Many people wonder if Univera decided not to tell the full story for his own private reasons. It's one of those mysterious events the industry still talks about.
Jay-Z turned himself in tonight, and the cops started working on his rap sheet, accusing him of a stabbing at a trendy party.
Kimberly Richardson is at Midtown South right now. Kimberly.
Well, Rosanna, just a few hours ago, police here at Midtown South arrested Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z. The rap star voluntarily turned himself in here at the precinct earlier this evening. Now, Carter is being held here in connection with that stabbing fight that erupted at the Kit Kat Club last night. But just a few moments ago, Carter's attorney had this to say.
He's not involved in this, period.
He was at the club?
That's my only comment. He wasn't involved in this.
So it was someone else that did the stabbing and the hitting?
I didn't say that. I said he was not involved in it.
Now, Slovis goes on to say that at no time was Jay-Z hiding from the police, that they were in touch with cops all day and that they're trying to resolve this as gentlemen. But as Mike Sheehan shows us, others say they've seen the dark side of Jay-Z.
I have my faults. You know, I'm not a perfect person.
People who talk about this story often mention that Jay-Z doesn't seem very sorry in public for what happened with Lance Rivera. They talk about old interviews where Jay-Z spoke about the incident as a big moment that changed his life. Some critics have called these comments cold or even planned. The different stories about what happened at the Kit Kat Club that night make everything more confusing. Over the years, some witnesses have told their own sides of the story. But Lance Rivera is the only one who still says, to this day, that Jay-Z never hurt him. This difference has led to a lot of guessing. Some people watching think Rivera might feel forced to stick to his story. Because of all this, the whole situation is still full of contradictions and people in the music industry are still arguing about it.
You know, well, you pled guilty to charges of, I don't remember exactly the charges, assault with a deadly weapon.
They would have never let me be out here with you if that was the case.
You stabbed him. Okay. All right. Do you feel like that was a mistake in hindsight?
I believe that was the greatest thing ever. This is gonna sound crazy, but I believe that helped me. You know what I'm saying? Because that put the brakes on everything. That let me know that no matter how successful you are and how much you're on your road, it can all stop. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you still kid from Marcy Projects, and you know, not everybody they waiting for you to mess up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just go ahead. You know what I'm saying? We let you just go ahead and self-destruct yourself. You know what I'm saying? But that right there was a moment I was like, okay. You know, and I'm glad it didn't have to take for me to be in jail for like 7 years to be like, damn. You know what I'm saying? That moment was like, okay, all that stops. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not going to parties with 30 people, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I'm not going to put myself in that position.
When you look at Dame still kind of living that life, you know, you could find Dame at the club, you know.
Yeah, but he's with 30 models. It's a little different. I was with the hood.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. He's hanging at a different kind of club now.
There's a lot of talk going around. People are saying that after what happened to Diddy, Jay-Z might be the next big star to get into serious trouble. Some people think powerful groups are now going after famous people they see as villains in Hollywood. Commentators have brought up that rapper Ice Cube said Diddy's fall didn't just happen on its own. They point out how Diddy went from being a billionaire who traveled the world to losing everything and going to jail in less than a year. This has made people wonder if something bigger is going on behind the scenes. Now, those same people are saying that Jay-Z could be the next one to face his own big problem, especially as the feeling in the entertainment world gets more tense and strange.
Did you ever have any kind of run-in with Diddy? Did you ever do anything with Diddy? Any projects you worked on with him?
He produced a few records, or had his producers do a few records on my War and Peace album, the Peace Disc. Yeah.
How was he to work with?
It was cool. You know, he, gave us great music. We flew out to New York, and I was mainly in the studio with the producer. You know, he had a stable of producers, so I was in the studio with his stable of producers, and I think we did some great music. And I really kind of lost contact with him and really stopped, dealing with Puffy around 94. Yeah.
Any specific reason?
Yeah, I mean, they was doing their thing, I was doing mine. And, I'm not the partying type. You know what I mean? I ain't never been to a Diddy party. Ain't never really wanted to go. But I don't go to a lot of people parties. That just ain't what I'm in it for.
Some people say that Jay-Z's tough public image isn't the full story. They often talk about a famous rumor from 1996, during the big East Coast versus West Coast rap rivalry. The story goes that Jay-Z stayed inside his Las Vegas hotel room. He was reportedly trying to avoid a possible fight with Tupac Shakur. According to a man named Gene Deal, things were very tense that night. He says it was only when Suge Knight, Tupac's friend, stepped in and told him to relax that the night calmed down. This allowed Jay-Z to safely go on stage and perform. These old stories have been talked about in hip-hop for many years. They are a big part of the debate about how Jay-Z handled the intense pressure during one of rap's most famous and dangerous times.
What's the story behind Jay-Z being afraid to come out his hotel room because of Pac?
All right, what happened was that I guess Pac had got whiff that Jay-Z was in town. Well, he gonna do a show because Jay-Z, he doing a show. But you got to realize Jay-Z had became an enemy of Pac because I think he had said was going to do a song with Big or whatever like that, the whole 9 yards. So Jay is now Pac's enemy too. So Chaz Williams, who was over Black Hands. Black Hands was one of the labels who did that. Black Gangster had every artist in New York on, and Chaz, who is now getting into the music business, has become a music executive, and he was once a former gangster who was on American Gangster BET because they had him down for robbing 161 banks. That's what they put in their program and everything. But Chaz was a gangster in New York City that became a music executive. So he gets a phone call saying that Jay is not going to come out the room because Tupac threatened him. So he's not going to do his show. Can he make some phone calls, you understand, to get Pac off the bullshit? So I think he may have talked to Big D, and Big D and Eric B called Suge, and Suge was laughing, saying that wasn't him. Because they tried to make it seem like it was Suge that was doing it, but it was Pac. So I guess Suge called Pac. Pac let him go ahead and do his show and everything like that. But Jay was scared to come out his room.
So that story was really true about Jay-Z being afraid to come out his hotel room.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, he was scared. Probably still is scared.
Some people in the business even tell a story about Gene Deal. They say he once joked that he wanted to knock Jay-Z's head off. These people use this story as proof. They argue that Jay-Z might not be as scary as everyone thinks he is. Critics also point this out. They say that if Jay-Z were truly as dangerous as his reputation, people like Gene Deal wouldn't feel safe talking about him so openly and boldly. This story is just another part of the long-running debate about who Jay-Z really is and the larger-than-life stories that surround him.
You know, because he was being disrespectful. We was in Cancun, and he had a personal assistant from my block named Laura. And he had brought like 6 people to the club with him, and he was only supposed to get 3 people in. I was running the door at Daddy-O's from In the Streets Entertainment. They just told me Jay-Z only get 3 people in. So I'm at the door. I said, yo, Jay, you good? And 3 of your other good, but the other 3 got to pay. So then he said, Laura, handle him. And at that time, the type of dude I was, you couldn't tell no woman to handle me when I'm talking to you as a man. I said, who you talking to like that? You telling her to handle me? And then me and him, you know, he didn't say nothing. He just turned to the side. And if he'd have turned back around, he'd have got his head knocked off. But Laura told me, yo, Gene, please, Gene, you're going to make me lose my job. You know what I'm saying? And because once she was beautiful, 2, she from our block. I wasn't going to do that to her. So I gathered myself, stepped away from the situation, you know what I'm saying? But he was being
Some people in the media have talked for a long time about Diddy and Jay-Z. They say the 2 men were part of the same world and were connected to the same dark rumors. These people say there were always stories on the streets that Diddy and Jay-Z worked very closely together. Gene Deal claims he heard these stories himself when he was working in the industry. The critics point out that Diddy eventually got into serious trouble and faced consequences. But they believe Jay-Z was protected. They say powerful people stayed quiet and shielded him, which kept him safe while others were facing legal problems. Now that Gene Deal is talking so openly, these commentators say secrets are starting to come out. They warn that Jay-Z's successful empire could soon be looked at very closely, the same way others have been before they fell.
To protect myself, that there's stories of Jay talking to underage girls. It was a girl from my block that was 16, 17 years old that Jay was talking to. If she was 17. So there's plenty of stories out there that they might flood the market of Jay talking to underage girls. I heard this kid that is claiming to be his son. His mother was 15 when she conceived him and had him at 16. And Jay refused to do a blood test or anything like that.
From your point of view, because I know you heard the statement that, you know, Jay lawyer came out with about how he wasn't really friends with Diddy. From your point of view, was they really friends or no?
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z. Now, I don't know what kind of statement, and I can't say, I wish I could say half a homo, but I know I can't say it, but I don't know what kind of half a homo that is, and you trying to say that you're not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass, and then you making a broad statement to the public, can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay-Z said the same thing about them. But they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? So I guess that's a certain type of closeness.
People are now talking about Jay-Z possibly facing problems, even within prison circles. At the same time, rumors are growing about Diddy dealing with more tension behind bars. This has led some people to think a larger, hidden force might be going after multiple famous people all at once. For the past few months, stories have spread online. They claim Diddy has faced growing hostility in prison. Insiders suggest that only the fast actions of nearby guards have stopped things from getting worse. Now, people who follow these theories are saying something new. They think whoever might be causing trouble for Diddy could also be targeting Jay-Z next. This idea has started a new wave of gossip that has the whole entertainment industry talking.
That while he was sleeping at the MDC Brooklyn jail, somebody came and put a knife, pressed it to his throat. Now, as I keep digging into the story, they're saying, yes, a correctional officer or a police officer was the one who came and basically helped him out and quote unquote saved him. Yes. And so, you know, obviously Diddy's lawyers are trying to use this as a way to just get him even moved to a different location. But right now, everything is kind of staying as is.
Yeah, his safety being an issue when he's supposed to be, you know, I think in some sort of protected environment. You know, remember MDC, isn't that where the Epstein situation happened?
Yeah. Is he safe though? And you say something about him getting stabbed?
I was going to say, Diddy's team is saying no, he's not going to be safe because in court, we found out that there was an attempt on Diddy's life, that there was a man that attempted to shank him, but they stopped it, the correctional officers. And they say Diddy didn't even want people to know that he didn't want to make it a big deal. But of course, they're having that conversation about will he be safe because of who he is and how high profile this case is. Right. They're also having a conversation. Mark Geragos is a high profile attorney, a friend of Diddy's, but also the dad of Teeny Geragos, who led Diddy's defense about Diddy potentially being raped in court. And we can and just attacks on his life because they say that people look at him as like a trophy or a prize and to do something to him.
Well, what if other inmates hear all of the stuff that we've been hearing in the news all of these weeks and they scared of Diddy?
That's not how they presented it. I don't.
That's crazy to say Diddy's a trophy. Like he's looked at as a trophy in jail is crazy.
Some people are now saying that karma might finally be finding Diddy. They claim he is, for the first time, dealing with serious pressure and problems. These problems are similar to the pressure they say he once put on other people. Insiders in the music business suggest that the situation has completely reversed. They say Diddy is now in a world of harsh judgment and tension. This puts him in a defensive position he has never been in before. It adds a fresh and dramatic chapter to his story.
Earned that Sean Diddy Combs could be sexually assaulted, violently assaulted. Is that a thing? Because based on what was said in court, it feels like a thing.
Yeah, it clearly is a thing. I mean, they're already, and he did not want to make a big deal of it. They already tried to shank him once at the MDC, and that was thwarted. And it happens in prison. I mean, you and I could tick off how many times we are aware of somebody getting seriously injured or killed in prison. And so they're going to have to keep him somewhere. that they can keep an eye on him. It would have obviously been better if he had gotten less time and had been at a camp, but he's going to be in a facility where somebody's going to have to, from the BOP, and I think they're well equipped to do it if they can, to keep an eye on him because he is a target.
So let's say he is sent to a minimum security prison. Is he out of the woods when it comes to that kind of assault?
If you're going, you and I talked about Ghislaine Maxwell, who went from the one place in Florida, which was a higher level, not a camp. And she was transferred after she did the interview with the couple-day interview. She was transferred to what they call a camp in Texas, which I'm familiar with. I've had other...
Certain commentators, like Gene Deal, have been spreading talk. They say Diddy is dealing with major problems behind the scenes. Insiders, including a person named Sharizi Finney, have shared their own stories. They suggest Diddy is under a kind of pressure that most people never get to see. Rumors have been going around about specific incidents aimed at him while he's in custody. Some people claim these are all connected, showing a pattern of tension that is getting worse. People watching this situation say it's just one of many recent problems Diddy has had to face. All this guessing keeps everyone in the music industry feeling nervous and alert.
Diddy being in prison and the circumstances him being in prison, I didn't never hear about this, and nobody ever said anything about this, and I want to know if it's in the prison records. They said one of the guards stopped a dude from shanking Diddy. Now, I'm like, if he was doing all this positive in jail, and they was talking about he was, all the inmates loved him, and they was employing him and doing standing ovation. I wonder what inmate was trying to shank him. Was that one of the Tupac? Was that one of the Tupac fans, or that was one of the Biggie fans? Because they said that the guard, they said that in court, one of the lawyers, one of the guards stopped one of the individuals that was trying to shank him, bruh. And that was crazy. Nobody, I never, that didn't leak. Everything leaks from prison, but that didn't leak. Nobody wrote home and said, yo, dudes is in here trying to stab Diddy up. But the lawyers mentioned that today. I want to see if they're going to investigate that right there. You know what I'm saying? And base that, or he probably used that, base that on trying to help Diddy getting into one of those camps or one of those programs that, he ain't got to worry about nothing.
Some commentators have been talking about the differences between Jay-Z and Diddy. They say Diddy once had a kind of powerful backing that Jay-Z never had. Jay-Z, they explain, instead relied more on support from other important people in the music business. Now, those same voices are suggesting that this support might be fading. They say if these influential friends are stepping back or losing interest, Jay-Z could be left vulnerable. He might be exposed to problems in a way he never has been before. This adds a new level of uncertainty to the growing trouble around him.
When we were on the street, we didn't get a day's rest. I mean, the government was all over us. The FBI is all over us. They got investigations on us. They got informants. They got surveillance equipment.
He was not cutting you off, but he was an informant for years.
Was he really?
Yeah. That's why when people was like, oh, he's going to run, he's not. So the reason why these type of people get caught up, they always been feeling they bigger than the law because they part of the law, And as you know, all these people get tired of their rap.
I mean, what this guy did is disgusting. I don't think there's a person alive, a man or a woman, especially women, who are not going to hate this guy. Whatever he did was completely disgusting. It's beyond criminal. I don't even know what it is. I look at it like he disgraced everybody. He disgraced the black race by being a black man. I know a lot of black people, and they hate him for it because it painted a picture towards all of them. I think it's being followed all over the world. If he's not found guilty or he's cut free or he does a short amount of time, I mean, I could only imagine what the whole world would think. This is a disgusting country. So there's a lot of things.
Sammy, if you would give me your comparison. I mean, listen, guys in the mob did some terrible, terrible things. The murders were gruesome and violent and painful, and they served a purpose. They were meant to terrify people into staying in line, right? Compare that to the things that you've heard alleged from the witness stand and testimony under oath from a lot of these young women and some of the young men who were his assistants. Compare the guys in the mob to the stuff you're hearing alleged against Diddy.
If we did that in the mob, we would be for it. We would never touch women and children and stuff like that. So that's against our rules, our principles. We would never get away with something like that. There was a guy, Roy DeMeo and Gas Pipe, who became serial killers for no reason, and they were killed. So, I mean, if he was in the mafia, he would, and we knew what he was doing, he would have been.
For a long time, people in the industry have said that the worlds Diddy and Jay-Z lived in were full of high risks. They've said that even people who were used to danger would have been tested by the kinds of situations these two men faced. A former crime analyst named Michael Franzese has been brought up in these conversations. He has suggested that just having their intense reputations would make most people nervous. People watching all this say that both Diddy and Jay-Z worked in spaces where loyalty, influence, and power were always part of the game. This meant any move they made could suddenly cause big trouble. It kept the whole industry waiting, almost holding its breath, to see what they would do next.
They saw what he did to Cassie. With the kicking, the punching. They saw what they did to Cassie. They know that nobody in America liked that. So now, these people are represented by a brand. Whether it's something about the music, clothing, movies. They're not going to come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them. And they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. They praying. So until the feds say, hey, yo, listen here. We got you on, hey, buddy, we got you on this tape. And girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not going to show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, you know, Sean Combs. That's when they're going to start talking. And they're not going to be talking in his favor. When the feds come to them and show them what they got on tape.
Rumors are flying. People say Diddy is under serious pressure behind the scenes. At the same time, there are whispers that Beyoncé might be thinking twice about staying away. Even the streets that once protected Jay-Z are now watching him closely. According to a man named Gene Deal, the whole atmosphere around Jay-Z is changing. Some insiders are predicting that his power might be challenged in a big way. As the gossip grows and new stories come out, the music industry may not be able to protect him anymore. The whole situation has everyone feeling tense. If you like these stories, help the channel by hitting the like button, subscribing, and sharing this with your friends. I'll see you in the next video. You won't want to miss it.